Hi, travelers. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to Soul Papa's channel. It's Sunday, April 23rd, 2017, and I have so much to share with you, but I'm trying to be mindful of the time, so I hope that I can share what I have in just a few minutes. First of all, I'd like to just give you two things that I'm really grateful for today. So I went to church today and I bumped into my little friend, Brianna. Hi, Brianna. I'm giving you a shout out right now because I know you'll be watching this video later. I do call her little friend because actually she is little. She's 10 years old. And I hadn't seen Brianna in about maybe 6 weeks. And yesterday I was thinking about her and thinking, oh my God, I miss her. And I spoke to her dad and I was like, how is Brianna doing? I miss her. I hope she's okay. And synchronicity, talk about synchronicity. Today I walk into church and the first person that I see is her. So hi, girlfriend. I hope you're doing well. Good luck with studying for your exams. But that was like the best thing ever, guys. I was just so happy to see her, and we were generally happy to see each other. And it was really a nice feeling that warmed my heart and made me feel so grateful. So that is that. And then I met this woman who is an usher at this church, and for some weird reason, she just asked me if I speak French, and I said yes. And so we started to speak French. We held a really nice conversation, and that just made me get more excited because, I haven't spoken French in a very long time because French isn't spoken that much in America. So it was really just nice to connect with somebody else at that level. It almost feels like, going to a foreign country and meeting someone who speaks your native language, that kind of excitement. Really, very cool. So that was really lovely. So those are the top two things on my gratitude list for today. But let's get back to the gratitude challenge. This is day 5 of the gratitude challenge. And the day before yesterday, I was telling you that, as a result of me engaging in this process, some things were changing in my life. Specifically, I found that with being more grateful, I started to be actually more present in my life. I started to be like right here, right now, right? There was like less chatter going on in my mind, and I was actually able to just be able to be in the moment and enjoy the present moment, which is actually quite a gift. And so I was grateful for that experience. And now a couple more things are coming to my awareness that I wanted to share with you. And the first is that actually, the more gratitude I have been expressing in my everyday life, the more I've been actually very mindful of what goes on in my head. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm now beginning to be more careful about the things that I allow to take root in my mind. Because remember, the first video I made, I was telling you, you can't really have resentment and unforgiveness and anger coexist with love and gratitude, right? At the same time, those two things are pretty much diametrically opposed to each other. So they can't exist in the same breath. And so what I've realized is that being in this mode of gratitude has given me peace. It has put me in a place where I'm more present in my life, and so I'm paying more attention to just what's going on around me at all times. But in addition to that, I'm just starting to feel like protective about what I allow into my mind. So anything that makes me feel negative or anything that I think has the potential to create negativity in my life or in my mind is something that I try to stay away from. So for example, last evening I was watching a movie, and the movie kind of got a little crazy with all the yelling, and there's a whole bunch of other crazy negative things going on. And in that moment, I thought for a second and said, I wonder why I'm watching this. What exactly am I allowing into my mind? And so I just chucked watching the movie and decided I was just going to go and listen to more inspirational or motivational videos or audios. And I think that that's one thing I would encourage you guys to do, is that as you go through this process, and even after you're done with the gratitude challenge, try to always be in a mode of positivity and try to keep upbeat and listen to things that are going to build you up. Because the reality is, a lot of times, like, so much happens in a given hour but our minds, our brains only process a small fraction. The rest of the stuff is pretty much just absorbed in our subconscious mind. So whether we know it or not, or whether we realize it or not, a lot of things that we expose ourselves to, we may not even notice what they are, but they kind of just, get into our minds. And so if we are chronically exposing ourselves to negative talk, to negative surroundings, to listening to negative people, if we're chronically in those types of environments, even though we're upbeat, eventually what's going to happen is those thoughts and those beliefs become embedded in our minds. And eventually we begin to produce the fruit in our lives. And so the other thing that I didn't talk about in the first video was that, I remember making the link between the thoughts that we think and the emotions. So if we think negative thoughts, then it generates negative emotions. And then there is that cycle of negative thoughts, negative emotions. But also what could happen is, what tends to happen is that if we're chronically in this mode of negativity or even positivity, then eventually the words that we speak will be a reflection of what's going on in our minds and in our hearts, right? So a good litmus test for you would be to think and take stock of yourself and say, hey, for the most part, am I complaining when I open my mouth to speak? Am I always complaining about situations or people? Am I always ungrateful? Do I not appreciate things? Or am I always positive and upbeat and looking for the good in things even when situations are bad? So the idea here is that, and I watched a video yesterday that made so much sense to me, and I'm grateful actually for that experience, was that our minds are like a garden. Okay, so when you go plant something in a garden, whatever seeds you plant, you should expect to reap whatever that is. So if you plant peas or beans or apples, if you plant that, then what you should expect after a period of growth is that you will pretty much reap exactly what you sow. So if you plant negative thoughts in your mind and allow negative things to come into your experience on a regular basis and chronically engage in negative self-talk, your subconscious mind doesn't really care. It's like the garden, right? So it's going to grab all of that stuff and it's going to produce those things in your life, which is not what we want to happen. So we always want to be in a mode of being positive, speaking positive, loving people and treating people with respect and wishing well for other people, because in a way, those are the seeds that we are planting in our own minds that will generate whatever the fruit is eventually, which would be fruits of positivity. So it's pretty much, like the technology term is garbage in, garbage out. If you put garbage into your mind, garbage is going to come out of your mind. But if you put positivity and love and peace and thanksgiving and joy, then you're going to reap those same benefits. So I'm beginning to actually be more protective about the things that I allow to get into my mind and to take root in my mind. And also, I've noticed that I'm becoming more mindful of the things that I speak, right? The words that come out of my mouth, I'm being more mindful because I'm realizing that if I'm complaining, that means I'm not grateful, right? And if I'm not grateful, then based on past experiences that I've had just this week, where the more grateful I felt, the more God gave me things to be grateful for. It might be the same thing. It's like the more ungrateful I am and the more unappreciative I am, I'm actually taking away from an opportunity to live life and appreciate the things that I have. Many, the text, the word says that, for those, if you have little and you don't appreciate it, even the little that you have will be taken away. So let's try to always just appreciate even the good things, even the small little things that we have in our lives, and focus on those things. And so I leave you with that, and I hope that you will be blessed. And I'd love to hear how your journey is going. So I'll talk to you on Tuesday. It will be actually a week of the gratitude challenge, and I hope that you've seen some positive things in your life happen as a matter of as a function of actually engaging in this challenge. I love you guys. Enjoy the journey, and don't only think about the outcome, right? It's as important to enjoy the process as it is to enjoy the outcome. All right, take care, guys, and I'll see you on Tuesday. Ciao.